Winkin', blinkin', and nod of a night, sailed off in a winning chew, sailed on the river of crystal light into a sea of dew. Where are you going and what do you wish? The old man asked the three.
Knowing that you were once in a terrible place where you weren't safe, you weren't really loved, you weren't really taken care of.
Neglect is, it's a form of child abuse.
Hi, I'm Millie and Manaoat. When I was adopted, I was about two years old.
And your sister?
I think she was, I want to say like 4 or 5.
Hi, I'm Millie Manaoat.
Mary Manaoat, Dad, Mom.
Well, we've been married for about 8 years, and then we tried to get pregnant and it wasn't happening. So
we went through all the medical things we went through. We got tested. Things came out normal. It just wasn't happening.
yes. So we decided, I wasn't too sure about adoption. He was more sure about it. He had no doubts about it. What was hard for me was thinking that I could actually have love for another person's child. So,
I'm not really sure. It's one of our visits. My mom took pictures of us in costume. Yeah.
When did you know that you were adopted?
I always knew.
You always knew?
I knew like, because we would go back and forth from the houses, from my actual mom to my adopted mom.
How did you feel about your biological mom?
Honestly, as a kid, I hated her, which is weird, but I didn't like her. There's just not a relationship there. It was just, I didn't want it.
What about your sister?
Since my sister was older, she spent more time with my mom, so I feel like she had a closer relationship with my biological mother, whereas I spent less time with her, so that bond never grew, but I was really close to my mom now, which to me was my actual mom, because they even have it on the records of me telling my biological mom, "You're not my mom." And I don't know, like, I know I said this already, but like for a 2-year-old to realize that is a big deal.
One of the reasons why they got into a foster system is because she didn't know how to be a mother. She didn't even know how to be properly dispose of the children's diapers. She would throw them under the sink.
And maggots would be coming out of it.
All over, yeah.
She would pack Mary's lunch off with no plastic covering over it.
Yeah, she'd just make a sandwich and just throw it in the backpack. Or the food would be rotting.
Yes, and then the one thing that got them out of that home for sure was she called up one of the social workers and told them that she had visions of killing her kids. So
she told the police to please come and pick up my children. I have visions of killing my children.
Yeah, so they said, okay, that's reason to remove them.
How can you say no to that?
Yeah.
Millie's older sister, Mary, she's developmentally delayed, so she's special needs, and the purpose of that is because of her upbringing.
Hi, I'm Mary Manaoat. I'm 21 years old. I went to foster care at 4 and was adopted at 7.
I believe as soon as Millie was born, Mary was pretty much put by the wayside. 0 contact, 0 stimulation. She was just left in the corner, and she was, what we were told is that she was pretty much in a catatonic state.
Before I was adopted, I really don't remember really interacting with my sister that much. I just knew she was like there and that she was my sister, but there wasn't really much of a, I guess, sisterly bond. And it wasn't until we got a little older that we were able to form that.
She wouldn't cry for anything.
Nothing.
She wouldn't.
She didn't know the sensation of thirst, hunger.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, the mother would remember to feed her. Oh, here, dinner, here, have a candy bar, and just toss it at her.
Yeah.
I don't remember much about being with my biological mother. It's affected me a lot because when I was little, I didn't know how to express myself. But at the same time, it gave me clarity as to why I have a disability. It makes sense. Like, okay, disability runs in the family, so it's like, oh, that explains why.
What was it like growing up with me in our mom's house?
I don't remember much of growing up with her at my mom's house. I just mainly kept to myself. I'd get into things, but I don't remember interacting with her.
This is my house. Like, this is like where I grew up. This is my room. Don't look in there. It's messy. We don't need to see that. What's wrong with you? Okay.
I'd say the long-term effect was that it taught us how to love unconditionally. Because really, when you do adoption, it is really not about you. It's about these children and giving them the best home that they can have, raising them up with good morals and values, caring about where they're going to be as adults.
See, I remember always being hungry, and the house was always messy. I remember I just hated being there. I was really proud that I was adopted, but it wasn't until I started getting older that I guess I started to become more angry about it, because I wanted to be blood related. I didn't want to like have only a piece of paper that proved that I was legally theirs. I wanted to be flesh and blood. So I was angry about that, but it's not until like I guess you realize that family isn't blood.
It's okay.